if Cade Cunningham is going to shoot his pull-up threes and these step-back threes as consistently as he did tonight, if he's going to get to the free throw line as consistently as he's done in preseason, he's coming for first-team All-NBA, and he's coming for some MVP votes this season with the Detroit Pistons.
You are Locked On Pistons, your daily Detroit Pistons podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's the deal? Welcome back to another episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast. Per usual, I am your host, Ku Khahil. You can find me over on Twitter at Ku Khahil. I've been covering the Detroit Pistons for 4 years now for the Locked On Network, been a credential media member over the last 3 years. I want to thank all of you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons, hit that subscribe button, or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. That's another great way to support the podcast. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets used across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app to get started today. Later on, we'll talk about some really good minutes, I thought, from Bobi Klintman and Chaz Lanier in the Pistons' second preseason game. We'll talk about what we saw from them, and maybe some not so great minutes from some other role players. We'll discuss that as well. Also want to talk about this uber aggressive Ausar Thompson we've seen in games 1 and 2, especially in this game 2. We'll talk about that a little bit later as well. But I want to start off with Cade Cunningham. And actually, before we get to Cade, I do have to let you guys know the Pistons went with a new starting lineup tonight. They went with Cade, Ron Holland, Ausar, Duncan Robinson, Isaiah Stewart. That's obviously due to Tobias sat out due to rest. Duran is still day-to-day with his hamstring. And Jay and Ivey, I know this one everyone's probably asking about. He also sat out due to rest. Now, I don't really understand that. I feel like, and again, I'm not a doctor or anything, but I feel like just from the outside looking in, played sports, like if you haven't played in 8 months, I feel like it would be best for you to play during the preseason, kind of get that conditioning up. But maybe they have a plan for him obviously they have a plan for him, and they believe this is better for him. I don't get that. I feel like it would be better for him to play and try to get his conditioning up during preseason so he's ready to go. But that's just me. But he was out due to rest, so the Pistons went with a different lineup. I told you guys throughout the offseason they wanted to see how Ron and Ausar could play together. We got more of those minutes tonight in this game for much longer stretches. I think we're going to see more of them in the future during the regular season. I think we're getting clear signs that we're going to see that. But wanted to give you guys that update for, I'm sure if some of you guys looked at the box score and was like, where's Ivy? Where's Tobias? That was it. Now we can get to Cade. Cade has been fantastic in preseason. Absolutely fantastic. First game, he had 20 points in the first half. This game, in the first half, in just 19 minutes, he had 26, 6, and 6. 26, 6, and 6 in the first half of this game in preseason. He looks absolutely fantastic. He had a pull-up 3 from deep off a pick and roll, which I absolutely loved. His defender went over the screen. He was trailing. It was from about 5 feet beyond the three-point line. He pulled really confidently, money. Then he had a step back there in the right wing. I love seeing that. That was money. He's getting to the rim. He's finishing through contact at the rim. He had multiple tough finishes through and ones tonight. He got to the free throw line in this game in just the first half 8 times. Got to the free throw line 8 times in the first half. When did Cade get to the free throw line 8 times all of last year? What, maybe like 5 times in one game? Like 5 times? Like, he did that in the first half, 8 free throws. And we got the signature Cade Cunningham headbutt after and one. He headbutted the ball. I forget who it was that fouled him, but it was a tough finish, and you saw that version of Cade come out that everyone always talks about. So my takeaways from how Cade's played, I have a few like more in-depth takeaways here. The Pistons are playing him not, I don't want to say off ball, because off ball like kind of insinuates that like he's, when you say off ball, it seems like that he's not getting the ball in his hands. He is. The ball is coming to him, obviously, or he wouldn't be scoring. But they are, so far through 2 games, he's still obviously running a lot of pick and rolls. Like, he's still doing that. But through 2 games, you're seeing different ways in which JB is utilizing him. You're seeing Ausar with the ball in his hands initiating action. You're seeing, at times, Ron Holland. Not as much, but at times, Ron Holland. Mostly, it really is Ausar so far, at least in this game. In this game, it was a lot of Ausar initiating action. But then maybe even Marcus Sasser, when he was on the floor with Cade, he was initiating some. You saw, why am I drawing a blank? Dennis Jenkins. Like, you're seeing the other people initiate the offense where Cade is not, every possession he's getting is not him just staring at a defense. It's him coming off a pin down or him coming off a handoff or him getting put in a good position already. Instead of him having to create this good position for himself, he's coming off this action that's creating him an advantage for him, and now he's feasting off of that. He's playing off of others. So now you're seeing more of Cade through preseason, on ball, creating his own advantages, but then also the Pistons kind of designing these actions to make life a little easier for him and trusting these other guys to run the actions. And I think he's looked absolutely fantastic doing so. I think this is something you're going to see more of. I think this is something the Pistons want to do. Again, we talked about this last episode with Matt, that JB's statements feel like maybe they could be contradictory. When he said that, we don't want to take the ball out of K's hands, but then also saying, yeah, we want to put the ball in Ausar's hands when he's on the floor with K. We want, blah, blah, blah. I feel like what JB was trying to say was that when he says we're not taking the ball out of K's hands, I think he's more so saying that, like, Cade's still going to get his shots. He's still going to be the main focal point of our offense. It's just maybe not going to look the exact same way. It's not going to be Cade coming down 14 seconds on the shot clock, pick and roll, ISO every possession like it was all of last year, really. Like, Cade was asked to do everything for the Pistons offense, create every advantage. And he had a high usage for doing that. I think what JB is saying is, yeah, you're going to still see him get the same amount of shots up, maybe even more shots. I mean, he got 14 shots in this first half. It's not like Cade's not getting his shots. It's not like Cade's not getting his usage. It's just looking slightly different. Instead of just only pick and rolls, you're starting to see pick and rolls. You're starting to see dribble handoffs. You're starting to see him coming off pin downs. You're starting to see him maybe get some movement threes. You're starting to see him get some catch and shoot threes. You're starting to see him get past the ball in transition. Instead of him leading transition, he's being passed the ball in transition and finishing off of that. You're starting to see how versatile Cade is as a player, which I think he's really feasting on through 2 games of preseason. So I think that's been a lot of fun to watch. I can't wait to see that during the regular season. I think it could really help Cade manage his stamina more, if that is the case, to where it's not just him facing a set defense every single possession, having to create for everyone every single possession. And again, like I said, with them using him just slightly different, just going to him in slightly different ways, in just 19 minutes, he's getting 26, 6, and 6. Like, this was talked about Cade pre-draft, about how versatile of a player he is offensively. You can play him on ball, he can be your engine, but then he can also play off these other actions. He can do all these other things. And because of the roster the Pistons have had for years, you just haven't really got to see him do these other things. But through 2 preseason games, you're starting to see the different ways in which he can be utilized. And I'm loving it. I think he's looking absolutely fantastic. And then the second takeaway I have is, if his finishing actually is making this kind of improvement, and again, it's preseason, don't want to go too crazy into anything like that. But if his finishing actually has improved and he's trusting his step back and pull up threes like he's doing in preseason, I am telling you guys right now, what you guys know, if you guys listen to the podcast all year, all summer, really, you guys know, I've said it over and over and over. The one thing that Cade has to work on is the efficiency. If he upgrades his efficiency and improves finishing at the rim and becomes a more consistent pull-up three-point shooter, I don't know how you guard him. He's one of the best passers in the NBA. He's one of the best mid-range shooters in the NBA. He's the best post-up guard in the NBA. He has incredible touch in the paint. He has incredible touch on mid-ranges. He already shoots fine from 3, especially on catch and shoots. He's able to get to the paint whenever he really wants. If now all of a sudden he's finishing at a high level and now he's also hitting pull-up threes, and it forces defense to guard him differently as well, I don't know how you stop him. He's going to be unguardable, and that's first-team All-NBA. That's MVP votes coming for Cade, if this is actually how he looks. And I think everyone should be very excited. Everyone should be very excited, because I remember last preseason, I should say, when he wasn't being aggressive, everyone was like, oh, God, what's going on with Cade? This preseason, you're seeing completely different demeanor. You're seeing him play absolutely tremendous in the preseason. And hopefully this means we won't see yet another slow start for Cade. Cade had a slow start to every year of his career, and then he picks it up after like game 7, game 10 or something. It seems like we know he focused a ton on his conditioning all offseason. Seems like he's coming to camp and coming to preseason in excellent shape. Looks much stronger, looks way better. Maybe this means that we will get a better start to the season, and maybe that leads to a better Pistons season overall. I think Cade's looked fantastic, man. He's looked absolutely phenomenal in preseason, man. I cannot wait for the regular season to get started here. Let me know, comment section down below or over on Twitter at Ku Khahil, how you guys feel about how Cade has played so far through preseason. And have you picked up on how the different ways in which they're trying to use him? It's not crazy. Again, he's still running his pick and roll, still getting his eyes, whatever. But have you picked up on the minor ways that they're trying to change how he maybe gets utilized within the half court? Let me know all that, comment section down below or over on Twitter at Ku Khahil. Coming up, we got an uber aggressive game from Ausar, with some mixed results. We'll talk about it and break it down coming up. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Every day we make decisions, but on Prize Picks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss the excitement of this football season with Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Playing Prize Picks is such a fun, simple way to add more excitement to football. You just pick more or less on player projections, like Josh Allen's passing yards or Saquon Barkley's rushing for a touchdown, and you're in the game. It's so much fun to follow other players in the app. You can also copy their lineups with just one click. And with the new injury reboot feature, if your player leaves early and doesn't return, it won't count against you. That's probably my favorite part about Prize Picks. By far, the injury reboot, it's game changer. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDINNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that's code LOCKEDINNBA for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. That's what Prize Picks. It's good to be right. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. That's another great way to support the podcast. I do want to apologize to you guys if it feels like I'm not maybe the most energetic right now. I'm dealing with some like serious ear pain. Like I don't know where this came from. This morning I woke up and I'm just getting like this like major ear pain with my right ear. I had to end the playback stream early because of it. Trying to tough through it for the podcast. But if it's coming off like I'm not like as maybe loud or excited or passionate, whatever, it's because like I'm just trying to like this thing's really, really bothering me. So I apologize about that. But I want to talk about Ausar now because this second game of preseason is by far the most aggressive we have, I think, maybe ever seen Ausar. This is the most aggressive we have ever seen Ausar Thompson in his career. In just 21 minutes of action, he shot the ball 7 times, shot 3 of 7. He got to the free throw line 10 times. So that's the equivalent in just 21 minutes of action. That's the equivalent to 12 shot attempts. And those were not 12 shot attempts coming off of dump offs. Those weren't 12 shot attempts coming off of putbacks. Those weren't 12 shot attempts of alley-oops. That's not what those shot attempts were. Those were, I'm almost 100% sure every single shot attempt besides one tip-in, he had a tip-in. All those shot attempts besides one tip-in was self-created, downhill, coming off a pick and roll, coming off an isolation, posting up a smaller guard, going ISO and trying to score. Like all of it was just him creating for himself, trying to score, being aggressive, getting downhill. And I think we got some mixed results. We got a mixed bag in how at times it looked really good, and at times it looked bad. I want to start with the good though. I talked about this all off season. His best games in the playoffs came in the final 2 games of the final 2 games of the series because he was being aggressive and he got to the free throw line a total, I believe, 22 times. And even when he does not, again, this is not me. We're going to get to the bad. This will be brought up in the bad. Point is, even when he's missing free throws, again, we'll get to the bad. He has to hit them. We'll talk about it. But even when he's missing, getting the other team in foul trouble, getting yourself into the bonus, and simply creating those type of advantages and creating those type of possessions is beneficial to the Pistons offense when he is aggressive, because he is, again, you need him to hit the free throws, but getting guys in foul trouble and getting to the bonus and having that type of aggression, it's just beneficial for the Pistons offense. So the fact that he got to the free throw line 10 times in really one half showed just how aggressive he was being. Teams can't stop it. Let me not say teams. The Milwaukee Bucks could not stop him from getting to the paint without fouling him. And I love the fact that you're seeing him use his strength creation. You're seeing that he really feels confident about the work he put in on his strength and his body this offseason. And every single drive, it's not that he's not using his speed or his quickness. every single drive, he's just trying to push people around. Like he's just, I'm stronger than you. I'm bumping you off of me, and you're gonna have to follow me. And he had a really good drive, bump off finish on Jericho Sims. He had a really good bump drive, push someone off of him when he went to a floater with his left hand, I believe, again around the rim. All of his drives were him just being uber aggressive and physical, that is really good to see. That's exactly how his brother drives, by the way. That his brother uses all of his strength and just brushes people off of him, and that's how he's trying to drive in this game. He was, what we've seen from Ausar is that he truly feels like, I am much stronger now, and I'm just going to use this strength to create my separation. And it was happening in this game. So that's the positive. The other positives is that I feel like the handle clearly has gotten tighter. Again, we're going to get to the negatives in a minute, but the handle has clearly gotten tighter to where he trusts himself to attack on these drives. Some of these drives that he was pulling off, he wouldn't have been able to do last year because his handle wasn't tight enough. His handle is much tighter than it was last year. And I like the fact that in these first 2 games, he's going against some really dogs at the point of attack. In this game, he went against Ryan Rollins, which is really a really tough matchup at the point of attack. He's a really good defender. I like the fact that he's getting that kind of action. And he had 0 turnovers in this game. Didn't turn the ball over one time. With how much he was at the point of not the point of attack. Ausar was creating the offense, setting the offense up, playing point guard more than Cade was tonight. Like he was doing it a ton in this game. He didn't turn the ball over once. I thought there were some possessions where he got the ball knocked loose and it slowed down the possession a little bit. There was like one possession where he had it knocked out of bounds, I think with like 13 seconds left on the shot clock. There was another possession where I think that there was one possession where he tried to drive isolation, ended up not getting it. So then they ended up kicking it back out with like 4 seconds left. And you had to force some BS up. Like you had some of those possessions, but you didn't have very many possessions, I don't feel like, where he just like lost control of the ball and he just didn't turn the ball over. So that's another positive. So, and then the last positive I'll say is this, is that the process is over the results for preseason. The process is being aggressive, trusting your handle, getting to the basket. The Pistons want him to be aggressive. They want him to be attacking like this. They want him getting downhill. They want him getting to the free throw line like this. They want all this to be happening. And he did that. And the process looked good. If he's getting to the free throw line 10 times in 1/2, the process is good. Now you need him to hit the free throws, but if he's getting to the free throw line 10 times in 1/2, you're getting what you want. He just want him to finish a little bit, finish some of these looks and make more of the free throws, but the process is looking good. So I thought for the most part, I think it's a positive takeaway you've gotten. Now the negative side from the possessions we saw, Hal tweeted this, friend of the podcast, Hal, and I agree with him. There were times where I disliked the way in which they were asking Ausar to attack. Like there were times in which it really looked like Ausar was just bringing the ball down the floor to go attack into an isolation. Don't think that's like, we want Ausar to be aggressive. We want Ausar to drive to the basket. I don't know if it should be like out of isolations. I'm not saying he can't get, like the post up later in the game he had on a smaller guard. I forget who it was. And he turned around and finished. Those I like. Those are good isolation. The smaller guard, he's stronger. That's all good. What you don't want, I don't think, is like trying to like draw up isolations for Ausar coming from the top of the key. I don't think that should be like regular occurrence kind of thing. I don't think that's how you really want him attacking. But again, it is preseason. I'm sure they're just like testing things out and just giving them everything and just saying, hey, here, go do something. So I get that. I understand testing out in preseason. No problem with it, really, them testing out. I just hope that's not like the main way in which they're trying to have him attack during the season. And then he's not really coming off of DHOs and attacking downhill. Almost all of them were just 1-5 pick and roll at the very top of the key. And he's just coming around trying to attack. Now, again, I think a lot of the process was good from his part. Again, he got to the free throw line 10 times and didn't turn the ball over. So, like, he was getting to the paint and drawing fouls. Like, you like that. But also, I'd like to see them, like, if Ausar's going to be more aggressive with the ball in his hands, like, you'd like to see him, maybe, again, like I said, come off some dribble handoffs on some secondary action on the weak side. Maybe he's not the one initiating it. It gets swung to him. Now he's attacking. Like, that kind of thing. You haven't really seen that type of attacking from Ausar because he's been asked to just be point Ausar for a lot of the preseason, which I like, but I hope that they start to be, my takeaway is that I think they're doing this on purpose because it's preseason. They want to give him the whole point guard reps, see where he's at, so then they'll dial it down to wherever they think it's good enough. That's what I think JB's doing. But I just hope that during the regular season, they start to get a little bit more. If they're going to put the ball in his hands this much, I hope they get a little bit more versatile in which they use it. That's one. Two, his finishing needs to, so far in game 2, and again, it's just preseason. We've seen guys get better in preseason. We've seen guys get worse in preseason after preseason. So you don't want to read. I'm trying not to read too much into anything, but the finishing in game 2 was not the greatest. He had a few again. He ended up finishing 3 of 7. Actually, I should have checked what his true shooting was at the end of this game. He ended up with 11 points, but shot 5 attempts from free throw line. Couldn't have been great. But I think there were 2 specific finishes that he would have liked to have back. 2 other finishes that he drove and tried to just throw up something to get a foul call. But there were 2 specific finishes that I feel like he should have finished and he's going to want back. So I think the finishing still seems like, at least, and it's just small sample size, but he needs to improve the finishing still. We need to see that finishing become a little, we need to see in game 3 of preseason or in game 4 of preseason, him start to convert some of these looks at the rim. I think that's big. And then obviously the free throws, like that's the big thing. Like if he shot 3 of 7, but shot 8 of 10 at the free throw line or 7 of 10 at the free throw line, I think everyone was walking away saying this was a fantastic game. But the fact that he shot 5 of 10 at the free throw line instead, now you're talking about more of still, even despite the fact he got to the free throw line, it's not nearly as efficient of a game. There was a time he went 0 of 2 at the free throw line during a set. Like you can't have that. The free throws have to be more consistent. I talked about how the last 29 games of this past season, he shot around 70% from the free throw line. It has to be closer to that. They need him around 70% at the free throw line. He has to get much better there as the season gets closer. Once the season comes around, if he's able to get to the free throw line that much, and he starts hitting his free throws more consistently, like that's gonna solve everything. Like if he just hits 2 more free throws, shoots 7 of 10 from the free throw line, and now you're looking at the end of the game, Ausar just scored 13 points on 7 shots in 21 minutes. You're like, oh my God, that's great. You'll take that. But 5 of 10, you can't have it. Like free throws have to come around. And then, like I said earlier, there were a few possessions where like the pressure of Ryan Rollins made him like set the offense up a little bit later and then you would have liked, and the Pistons dealt with some late shot clock situations. So again, it wasn't all perfect. It wasn't all great. It wasn't all bad. You got some really great possessions. The ones where he's drawing fouls and he has those finishes with his left hand. He bumps someone off of him. The ones when, there was one possession in the second quarter. He just drove straight to the rim, knocked the dude over, and tried to finish over and drew a foul. Like that kind of aggressiveness, if they're not going to be able to beat him to the spot, I mean, you're going to love that. But then again, there's other possessions where he blows a finish that maybe you would have liked to see him finish. There's possessions where maybe he gets the offense into it late because the pressure's bothering him a little bit. And maybe there's some drives that he should have, instead of looking to score, maybe he should have just kicked the ball out and kept it moving. But again, like I said, there was some really good. There was some stuff that needs to be improved upon. We'll get an idea. Most of me feels like that they're just kind of telling him, look, we want you to just go all out aggressive. We want to see you be aggressive. Don't be shy. We need you to be aggressive this year. So during preseason, just go all out. I think that's what we're seeing right now. I think you'll see some of it get dialed back just a tad and in different ways. But yeah, I look, overall, I'm liking what we're seeing from Ausar. Overall, I think this is good. This is really good what we're seeing. You just want some of it to be fine-tuned. I think it will as the season goes on, and obviously as preseason goes on. It's only preseason game 2. So let me know, comment section down below or over on Twitter at Ku Khahil, how you guys felt about Ausar Thompson being even more aggressive in this game 2 and being utilized even more so as the point guard, initiating the actions in this game 2. The Pistons did score, I will say, for the half that he played, they scored 72 points in the first half. So it wasn't like they were struggling to score. Like, I think overall it's pretty good. But let me know what you guys think. Comment section down below or over on Twitter at Ku Khahil. Coming up, we got some really good minutes from Bobi Klintman and Chaz Lanier, and we got some not so great minutes from other guys. We'll talk about it and break it down coming up. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and NFL has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet and put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love how FanDuel gives me so many ways to play. I've built parlays, tried player props, and even follow live lines during games. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Use or put down $5, and if you hit, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the FanDuel app. Again, head to FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. And I got to tell you guys about another one of our sponsors, Quo, or formerly known as OpenPhone. One of the tools that help make a huge difference for business owners is Quo, formerly known as OpenPhone. It's the same great business phone system you've heard me talk about before, just with a new name. And here's why it matters. Every missed call is money left on the table. When every customer conversation counts, you need a phone system that keeps you connected 24/7. Quo is the #1 business phone system that streamlines customer communications. It works right through an app on your phone or computer, so no more carrying two phones or relying on a landline. Whether you're a solo operator juggling everything or part of a larger team, Quo makes it easy to stay responsive and professional. See why over 90,000 businesses trust Quo, formerly known as OpenPhone. Get started free and get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/LockedOnNBA. That's QUO.com/LockedOnNBA. And if you got existing numbers with another service, Quo will port them over at no extra charge. That's Quo. No mixed calls, no missed customers with Quo. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. My God, man, my ear is like, this thing is actually really bothering me, man. My God. Let's go ahead and get this thing wrapped up. Let's talk about Chaz and talk about Bobi. Bobi had a great first half. He had 8 points in the first half, a very sick putback dunk that he had. He was very aggressive with his 3-point shots. He had two corner threes actually made, in which he one of them was a moving three over a defender. Another one was a quick shot, catch and shoot over another defender. Shots I feel like you wouldn't have seen him try last year. Like, he was very shy when he came onto the floor and in the garbage time. He just wouldn't get shots up. I really like seeing him be aggressive with his 3-point shot and trusting his 3-point shot. He shot 2 of 4, 3 of 6 from the field. He had 8 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. This was the best I've seen Bobi look on an NBA floor by far. This game right here, best I've seen him look. He was active on the glass. He was much more aggressive as, again, like I said, as a shooter. He was more aggressive on the offensive glass. Like, him going for that putback dunk, I just don't feel like we would have seen that type of aggression out of him last year. So it was a really good first half for Bobi in those limited minutes that he got. I thought he looked really good. I thought that was the best. Again, I think that's the best Bobi's ever looked on an NBA floor. And you're happy to see that. For a second-year guy like that, for him to come into this year after a shaky offseason, a shaky summer league performance, you love to see him come into the preseason, have a performance like that where it kind of builds confidence for himself. And it looks like he belongs on the NBA floor. Like, he looked really good in those minutes. So I thought Bobi looked really good. Best he's ever looked on an NBA floor. Chaz Lanier, though. This is my takeaway from Chaz so far in preseason. Now, he only shot 2 of 7 from deep. Not great. But this is my takeaway from Chaz. Chaz, and this is like an obvious takeaway, I feel like. He obviously has a beautiful shot. Like, obviously a beautiful shot. The shot gets up quick, too. And it looks good. The process in which he gets these threes is good. He's able to get it off before a contest. Like, when Chaz has been asked to just play defense and he's just catching and shooting, then running transition, playing defense, catching and shooting. When he does that, he looks fine on the NBA floor. Like, he looks like now he needs to hit more of his shots. He shot 2 of 7 from 3 in this game, but he shot much better in the first game. Like, the process of Chaz, when he's just minimized into that, he looks fine. Like, okay, yeah, he can get some minutes. Like, he survives out there. He's fine. He's doing his thing. He's not hurting the team. He's not a star out there, but he's not hurting the team. Like, he looks fine. So I thought when he was asked to just do that, he looked fine. You'd like to see him make more shots, but the process was fine. Like, I think he looked good. It was the possessions in which he has to attack a closeout or he's asked to do anything with the ball in his hands. Like, for example, he had to attack a closeout in the left corner. Took 2 dribbles, tried to bump the guy off him, go to a midi pull-up, didn't create any separation, ended up throwing like a triple bounce pass. It like bounced on the floor 3 times to the outside above the key after him almost falling out of bounds. Wasn't great because he had to put the ball on the ground. Then there was another possession. He caught the ball at the right wing, was just trying to start the action. There was like 17 seconds left on the shot clock, and he was trying to hit I believe it was Stu coming up to the high post or wrapping around to the high post to get the next action started. And the ball pressure was causing him so many issues that he had to take a dribble, lost the ball, and he ended up or almost turned the ball over, and then the Pistons ended up in a late shot clock scenario. So Chaz, when he's asked to put the ball on deck and asked to do anything but catch and shoot, that's when you start to see some of the concerns rise up with him. But when he's just minimized to run in transition, play defense, if you get a cut, if you get a loose ball, go ahead and take it to the rim, dunk the ball. He had one of those in the first half. And when you catch the ball, just let it fly. Like, he looks fine doing that. You want to try to keep his role minimized to that as much as possible, because when he has to do other things, that's when you start to see some trouble. But overall, I liked what I saw from Bobi in the process with Chaz. I low-key liked. I think Chaz has been fine in the preseason. I think he's looked like a second-round pick. It doesn't look like to me he's a guy like, oh, why did you waste that pick on him? He looks like a guy that's a second-round pick. You can see like what his NBA skill is. He looks fine, but he doesn't look anything spectacular or anything. So I've been okay with Chaz, and I liked what I saw from Bobi. Javonte Green minutes, I don't think we're very good. He doesn't look. He's a good veteran, good guy to have in the locker room, but his minutes so far in the preseason just have not been very good. I haven't, I joked, and this was a joke, so don't take it serious. If anyone happens to see this was just me joking around. But during the broadcast, during the live watch party, I was like, okay, these Javonte Green minutes feel like they're a waste of reps for someone else. Like someone else should just get these reps, because the reps just weren't looking good. But he's a vet, and he's a good in the locker room, and he didn't have, it wasn't, he ended up turning around a little bit. He hit a 3, but I haven't liked what I've seen from Javonte. And then we'll wrap it up with Dennis Jenkins. I thought this was the worst I've actually seen Dennis play. It looked like he was a little rushed. He shot 3 of 11 in this game. Looked like he was rushing his process offensively. And he took a few shots that I haven't seen him actually try to take before. Like, he had a few tough finishes at the rim that he usually turns into kickouts. Just seemed like he was being overly aggressive and kind of rushing his process. And I haven't really seen him do that before. So thought this was a rough performance for Dennis. I think he'll bounce back in the next preseason game. You'd like to see him bounce back, but definitely I think this was a performance he'd like to, get better than. And definitely, I again, like I said, I think this was one of the worst performances I've seen from him, but I think that's fine. He'll be straight. Let's see him play better in the next game. But outside of that, no real other takeaways. Ron, actually, I'll wrap it up with this. Ron was surprisingly very quiet in this game, like very quiet. Ron, he had some really good playmaking reps. He had some very good kickouts, but he was very quiet in this game. I wonder if we start to see him be a little bit more aggressive or see his number called a little bit more during preseason. But yeah, this was just like a very quiet game from Ron here. But that's all I've really got for you guys. Thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. Free and available on all your podcast platforms. Hit that subscribe button to the YouTube channel. Leave us a 5-star review, whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. For those of you guys who are not joining the playback room, you guys need to join it. Watch the games with us. We'll be obviously streaming all the regular season games. We'll be streaming the next 2 preseason games as well. And also in this game, my wife Megan finally made her first appearance. She was with us on stream watching the game together. It was a lot of fun. Everyone was trolling with her. She was trolling back. It was fun. So if you haven't already, check the links down below. Join the playback room and watch the games with all of us. It was a lot of fun. So, but that's all I've got for you guys today. Stay safe out there. Till next time. Peace out, everybody.